All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about money today, but probably not in the way you're used to. See, this isn't about some get rich quick scheme or how to buy a supercar. No, we're going to talk about one specific number, a dollar amount that can literally change your brain chemistry, totally transform how you think about risk, and just change everything about your day to day life.
Sound familiar? You know that feeling, right? It's 3 in the morning, you're staring at the ceiling, and your brain is just running in circles, imagining every possible thing that could go wrong. What if the car breaks down? What if the dog gets sick? What if my laptop just dies on me? It feels like you're constantly on defense, just one tiny emergency away from a complete and total crisis.
But what if you could just turn down the volume on that voice in your head? What if there was one specific, achievable number that could act like a powerful antidote to all that anxiety? A real tipping point that takes you from just surviving to actually, living your life. That number is $10,000. And look, this isn't just some random figure we pulled out of thin air. There's some real psychology, some real practical math behind why this exact amount creates such a huge, dramatic shift. Think of it as both a financial foundation and a psychological one. So to really get the power of having 10 grand, we first got to talk about what life is like without it. Let's call it the anxiety of zero. It's what it feels like to live life without a safety net. And these little micro stresses, they're so real, right? I mean, you know that feeling. You're in the grocery store aisle doing that mental math. Can I spring for the name brand cereal this week? Or you get that text from a friend, hey, dinner tonight? And you have to come up with some excuse because a $25 meal would totally throw off your entire budget. You're always just playing defense, always reacting instead of making proactive choices. But hitting that $10,000 mark, it's about so much more than just the money. It really is a profound internal shift. It's that moment you cross a tipping point and your whole mindset just starts to change. And this change is literal. I mean, it happens on a physiological level. Scientists have actually found that financial security lowers your body's main stress hormone, cortisol. So when you see that 5-figure balance in your bank account, it doesn't just change your finances. It literally changes how your body physically responds to stress. It's incredible. So with that biological change comes a huge psychological one. Your entire relationship with risk just transforms. Now, you don't suddenly become reckless or anything, but you might finally have the confidence to go ask for that raise. Or maybe you'll invest in that online course to level up your skills. You finally give yourself permission to think beyond just making it to the next paycheck. And this gets to the absolute core idea here, which we can sum up with a really simple analogy. It shows how the exact same event can feel like it's happening in two totally different universes, one with savings and one without. Okay, we've all been there. You're just driving along, minding your own business, and boom, that dreaded little light pops on the dashboard. For pretty much everyone, that's an instant shot of stress. But how much stress? Well, that depends entirely on what's in your bank account. And this is the shift. With zero savings, that little light feels like a ticking time bomb, a countdown to disaster. It's just sheer panic. But with $10,000 saved up, it's just an inconvenience. Yeah, you're annoyed for sure, but you're not panicking. The problem is exactly the same, but your ability to handle it, it's a world of difference. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, great, but saving $10,000 feels impossible. Here's the thing though. The key isn't some secret budgeting app or trick. It's about changing your mindset first. This right here is the crucial point. This isn't about going on a temporary spending diet. It's about a permanent shift in your identity. The moment you start seeing yourself as a person who saves money, your day-to-day decisions just naturally start to align with that. The whole process feels less like a sacrifice and more like, well, just being who you are. And this identity shift, it builds momentum. I mean, saving that first $1,000, it feels brutal. It takes so much willpower. But the second 1,000, it's noticeably easier because you're starting to build those habits. By the time you're pushing past 5,000, the whole thing starts to feel almost automatic. So once you've built this foundation, the benefits start to ripple out into every single part of your life. Honestly, this is about so much more than just a number in an app. I mean, on a practical level, this amount is a game changer. It basically neutralizes the most common financial bombs that derail people's lives. A big car repair, a surprise medical bill, even losing your job and needing to cover expenses for a few months. 10 grand can handle the vast majority of those emergencies. But here's the real secret. Most people who have an emergency fund, they almost never use it for emergencies. Instead, it lets them switch from playing financial defense to playing offense. You're not just protecting yourself from bad things anymore, you're able to jump on good opportunities. That $2,000 career course is a no-brainer when it could boost your yearly salary by 10 grand. And the benefits just keep piling up. People with savings report sleeping better, deeper. The relationships get better because that constant money stress, a huge cause of arguments, is just gone. You walk into a salary negotiation with way more confidence. You stop wasting brain power on tiny decisions like which pasta to buy. You finally have the mental space to think about your future. So in the end, that $10,000, it's not the real prize. The real transformation is in the person you become to get there. The identity you build, the habits you form, the mindset you develop. The money is really just proof that you did it. So the question isn't just about how you're going to save the money, it's about who you will become in the process.